Mine will be very quick because I'm not going to go into stats and details like you did, Frank. I'm not here for that. DJ Moore is the worst captain the Bears have ever had in the history of this organization. This dude, send him to Pittsburgh or wherever Justin Fields ends up in the offseason. If it's Minnesota, fucking send him there. We'll take Jordan Addison and whatever. Like, legitimately, I cannot stand this guy. He as all he does is talk. Like the back-to-back weeks where he just comes up short with just terrible drops in crucial situations. And all he's done is complain about the quarterback and how much, whatever. Like, and the thing that he does that bothers me the most is he hides behind smiles and everything's a joke and there's no deeper meaning to stuff, even though there very clearly is. He gets paid and immediately he just starts talking. I didn't even know what this guy's voice sounded like for the last 2 years or year, whatever. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden they trade Justin Fields. They get rid of his favorite quarterback because he's not a one-read guy anymore. Caleb's trying to spread the ball around, throws 2 touchdowns to Rome, whatever. And this dude, what does he do? He talks after the game and talks about how, we just start slow. We're just the offense. It's got to be better. Defense, yeah, I feel like they got a little bit. And not once does he, as a captain, say, no, I fucked up. I had a huge drop. It set the tone. I need to be better. He doesn't lead. He talks. And it makes me sick. Like, I was so hyped for this dude to get traded to the Bears, and now I legitimately cannot wait till he's gone. And that sucks because he's a good player, but he's not a wide receiver one, but he wants to be paid like one. He wants to talk like one, but he isn't one. And he's not a leader of this team. Can't stand him.
I don't disagree with anything that you said. Naz, I'll toss it to you. I have a really, it is funny because I had no pushback, nothing to add. It's funny though that you said that he's the worst captain. Granted, this is a little bit different, but we did have a fella named Jay Ratliff who had to get escorted from Halas Hall.
He's worse.
And then he was named captain the very next week. So are we saying DJ's worse than him?
Yes. Because I'm hyped up right now. Listen, maybe I could be talked
I know.
In a couple weeks from now.
I didn't want to dampen the fire, but that was the first thing that I thought of. I was like, let me think if I can think of a worse captain.
Let me fucking fact check this guy real quick.
He was,
right?
but that was the weird Trestman rotating captains. DJ's been the captain.
There's 8
for the last
captains on this team.
Say that again?
There's 8 captains.
Yeah, that's a lot. We need 4.
For a team that has 4 wins.
I'm not a big fan of players having like huge voices in the locker room. I generally think it's pretty toxic. And for a guy who's on that Derrick Rose trying to get to my kid's graduation plan, my boy DJ Moore over here is displaying maybe the worst leadership I've ever seen from a skilled guy.
I love when me and Nas are on the same page.
Ever fucking seen. It's like all we've heard about is all the conversations that the players are having, the player meetings, talking to Waldron. And it's like, DJ, how many in any of these conversations where you're like, I need the ball in the middle of the field? Did that ever come up? Because I have not seen him get the ball in the middle of the field more than like 4 times all fucking season. God damn it. I hate this dude too. But he is good. And he can redeem himself.
That's okay. Hold on.
This is not like he's so far gone that like I'll never be good with him again. But he is displaying some of the worst leadership I've ever seen. I will agree with that.
Frank, I know you were laughing, and on the inside I was as well. But what Oz just said, it is true, and that's what makes it even more frustrating, honestly, because it's not like he got paid and then he just stopped playing. Like he's still putting up respectable numbers. Like he's going to have another solid season at the end of the day. It is what it is, but it goes beyond the numbers. Like it's just it truly feels like he needed Justin to stay to like care about this team. And like I know people are going to point to the contract. Well, then why did he sign a contract? Because it's a contract extension. It's money. Like, it's a huge contract. You're going to get paid. Of course he's going to take it. Who wouldn't? And I think he gave Caleb Williams a chance, and it just hasn't gelled the way we were hoping it would. And he's just, I just don't think he's a leader.
I don't either.
Now, he can turn it around, but I don't like what I'm seeing.
And something Nas said, I agree with, and I'll even say like it's magnified because he's a receiver. I don't like too big of voices in the locker room either. There has to be coaches that, I mean, like, do you think anyone in Mike Tomlin's on his team is fucking commanding a room outside of like a quick speech, fire, rah, rah, blah, 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 but like real leadership role? I think that's highly doubtful. But even using them as an example, look at what he's done with these psycho-ass receivers since we've known Mike Tomlin. What DJ Moore is doing this year is just a reflection of how bad this culture has been. Because not only, like, we've never heard DJ really talk that much. And now that we are, it's not anything positive or glowing. It's showing us, like, he feels comfortable. Nas, you said this a few weeks ago. You're like, why the fuck is he comfortable just walking off the field like that? It's a precedent that's been set, and it is what it is. And he's just being allowed to be this poor leader. So I think that's the ultimate reflection of what has been built over the last 3 years under Ryan Poles' tenure.
Can I clarify something from our listeners?
Yes.
I don't think any of us feel like the players can't be extremely vocal. I think the one nuance or thing that we would want to add to that is we want them to take the attitude or take the culture, but the lead has to be taken by the head coach.
Yes.
Like, it's the coach who's setting the tone, and then the players are kind of like enforcing that. It can't be them just making up their own culture and like being in a separate part or, separated from what the coaches are trying to accomplish. So as long as the coach is taking the lead, I'm all for the players being vocal just in this situation. And I think we all agree in this situation, it's like they're just saying whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Well, and that's I think you're right on the money. I think that's a huge reflection of having 8 captains, because it empowers that specific group of captains to talk amongst themselves. And basically 8 is a lot. Like that's a nice group of guys getting together and just getting their feelings out and then feeling validated because there's enough people around them saying, oh yeah, you're right. This is messed up what Eberflus is doing and blah, blah, blah. Like it's just not a good look. And for Ryan Poles to talk about how important culture is, he's sure done a really bad job of building a good one. Because, I mean, now you go back and look at, like, the silly stuff that happened with Jalen Carter. And, you could talk about the decision to trade back. They were never going to draft him, blah, 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 whatever. But a big part of that was because of the culture that they wanted to protect by not drafting a guy with that type of background, Jalen Carter. But now it's like, well, that didn't matter. And now you just passed up on arguably one of the best defensive linemen in the league right now.
That also, and we want to, for transparency for the listeners, I don't want to harp too much because we're trying to shorten these goddamn episodes. We don't stop yapping. But isn't that kind of like, there are times you have to look yourself in the mirror and realize you're sort of like telling yourself something about that, or there's a grand proclamation, if you will. If you didn't trust your head coach to handle Jalen Carter, doesn't that tell you a little something about your head coach? Right? Now, if you wanted to prioritize offensive line, by all means, that's okay. But the only reason that they did not pick this guy, who by all accounts is perfect for this cover 2 defense, the Tommy Harris of the defense, is because of his attitude and background and everything. That's telling to me, because I don't think Bill B drafted a fucking gangbanger. Like, what are we talking about? Like,
there's a whole Netflix
series. Fucking George Pickens goes to, and he throws a little tantrum, and Mike Tomlin's like, look at me, buddy. What did he say to him on the thing? It was great. He said, look at me. This ain't gonna win or lose the game. Get your head in the fucking game. Get in there, buddy. Just slaps him on the ass, and George Pickens makes a play. Like,
look at the receivers he's dealing with. And
supremely talented players have always had a very long leash. It has been happening since Parcells and Lawrence Taylor, since Jimmy Johnson and Michael Irvin. Like, you just go down the line. There is always, and I forgot who said it. It might have been Jimmy Johnson, but it was a player who like came into him in the locker room. It's like, we're not getting treated the same way in this locker room. And he goes, well, can you do what that guy can do? And if you can't, then yeah, you're damn right I'm going to treat you different.